Good evening, all of you. Today, we are going to discuss about who are all the participators of derivative market. As far as this class is concerned, I just referred the previous question paper and some of the section A question that we are going to discuss today. Oftenly asking question is, what is the derivative market? So you have to write 3 points. One is it is a market for the financial instrument and who are all the participants. And third one is what are the major type of derivative contract. So if it is asked in section A question, then write one introductory sentence like the derivative market refers to financial market for the financial instrument such as futures, contracts or option that are based on the values of their underlying asset. Then you make the actual 3 points. What are the 3 points? First, you should say the derivative market refers to financial market for the financial instruments such as future, contract and option. What is the second point? There are 4 kinds of participants in the derivative market. Who are they? Hedgers, speculators, arbitrators and margin traders. And the third point that you have to mention is there are 4 types of derivatives. What are they? Option, future, forwards and swaps. Suppose it is asked in section B, then what you have to do, you write this introduction and you continue with who are all the participators. There are 4 different participators. The first one is hedgers. Normally hedging means it is, in order to reduce the risk, this particular action is taken place. Hedging is when a person invests in financial market to reduce the risk of the price volatility in the exchange market. That is, eliminating the risk for the future price movement. Derivatives are most popular instruments in the sphere of hedging. It is because derivatives are effective in offsetting the risk with their respective underlying asset. So whenever you hear the word hedging means it's nothing but this particular action is in order to reduce the risk of the future price change. Then who are the second participator? They are called speculators. Unlike hedgers, the speculation is a little bit different because it is a common market activity. There it is only a risk avoiding activity. It is a market activity where the participants of the financial will actively participate. Why they are participating? It is a risk activity of investors in trading. It also involves a purchase of financial instruments or the asset that the investor speculates become significantly valuable in the future. So they want to make some significant profit. For that, they are making some investment in the underlying asset. So the speculation is driven by the motive of potentially earning lucrative profit in the future. So the first one is in order to reduce the risk. The second one is the market activity. These two are taking place in the exchange that market. But there are other two called arbitrators and margin traders. Here, it will not take place in the market. It is over the counter. That means arbitrage is a very common profit making activity. There it is a market activity. It is a profit making activity in the financial market that comes into the effect by taking advantage or profit from the price volatility of the market. Normally, this particular action will not take place in the market. The arbitrator making profit from the price difference arising investment in the such as bond, stock, derivatives, just the difference it is making. The last one is the margin traders. In the finance industry, margin is a collateral deposited by the investor investing the financial instrument to the counterpart of the in order to cover the credit in the associate thing. And let us move to the second part, that is what are the types of contract. Here also there are 4 different types. As already discussed, it is a option, future, forward and swap. In case of option are financially derivative contract that gives a buyer the right, but not the obligation to buy or sell the underlying asset in a specific price. Normally, it is referred as a strike price during the specific period of time. There is a one difference between American and European, because the American market it can be exercised at any time during that period. But in case of UK market, that is European option, it can be exercised only in the expiration of the date. That is a date of maturity only. We can take any action. But in American market, at any time you can make a transaction. That particular option, normally we used to say it is a financial derivative contract, a normal contract. But there is a difference between option and future. In case of future, the future contract are standardized contract that allow the holder to contract to buy or sell the respective underlying asset. Note the word respective underlying asset at the agreed price upon the specific rate. Why we are saying this particular thing? The first one is maybe standardized or unstandardized, whichever be. It is a normal contract. It is coming under Contract Act 1987. But in case of future, it is not so. It is a standardized contract. That is a rules and regulation. The parties involved in the future contract are not only possess the rights, but also under the obligation to carry out the contract agreed. They have to follow. The contract is standardized mean they are traded in an exchange market. Understand one thing, both option and future are taking place in the market. What about the other two? In case of forward and swap, there is no need for a market. There is a contract, but it is over the counter. The forward contract is similar to the future contract in the sense that the holder of the contract possesses not only rights, but also under obligation to carry out the contract as agreed. However, the forward contract are over the counter of the product, which means they are not regulated and are not bounded by a specific trading rules and regulation. When you say, for example, when a contract is unstandardized, people will have informal talk will be there over the counter, or it will not take me in the market. It's only agreement between the two. As the contract is not bounded with the regulatory body rules and regulation, they are customably suitable requirement, both parties involved. If they are having the mutual understanding, then it will be manipulated. That is why the forward contract is not considered as a standardized contract. But in case of future, it is a standardized contract. Sometimes they may ask, what is the difference between the future and forward? It's a main difference is the future or standardized contract with a specific rules and regulation, and it is coming under a regulatory body rules and regulation. But in case of forward, it is look like future contract, but it is not standardized. Between those two parties, there is a change is possible. The second thing that you have to mention is this forward market is over the counter of the product, but there it is not so. The last one is the fourth type is called swap. Swap or derivative contract that involve two holders or parties to the contract and the exchange of financial obligation. It is look like a contract only. But what is the difference? The interest rate swap are the most common. Suppose if they are not able to pay the full amount, only they will pay the interest and they can have the margin. They may go into the particular stock derivative or index derivative. That is why swap are not traded in the exchange market. Once again, I am saying the first two are traded in the exchange market, but the second, that is forward and swap, it is not taking place in the exchange market. They are traded over the counter because the need of swap contract is customable to suit for the requirement between the two parties. A buyer and seller is there, they have the understanding, means the swap is quite possible. But it is not, it is also a contract, but it is not standardized. The first two, option and future, which will take place in the exchange market. But forward and swap, it is also a contract, but unstandardized, and it is over the counter transaction. That is why these two gain more importance. Then what are the criticism against the derivative? Last year they have asked this. There are 4 headings. There will be a lot of risk involved in this. That is why people are not, more number of people are not involving. The second one is the sensitivity and volatility of the market. The many investors or traders avoid derivative market because it is a very high volatility, because most of the financial instruments are very sensitive for a small changes. Now, there will be a very huge loss may happen. The expiration period or interest rate fluctuation, that all these things makes the market, the investor find difficult to play around. That is why the second criticism against the derivative market is sensitivity and volatility. Then the third one, complexity. It's very difficult to understand because you have to spend more time and energy, then only you can understand the market, because it's a high risk nature and there is a sensitivity in the market. Most of the people will not involve directly, they will have a middleman. That is why the brokers and trading agents are gaining importance, and they will play with our money. Because of the complexity only, more than two people are involving in the transaction. Investor is one side, the other companies are other side. In between that, the brokers and trading agents are playing around because of the complexity of the derivative market. The last one, it is a most relevant criticism. It is like a gambling. Gambling means not illegal, it is a legalized gambling. Owing a nature of the trade of financial market, people will start gamble and they will try to get more money. Most of the people may lose their money. So in this ground, the financial derivative market is criticized. Apart from these, there are some other section A question is possible. How the initial margin is calculated for the future? It's very easy. Initial margin can be calculated. What is the span margin and what is the exposure margin? Understand that if you add these two, then that is a initial margin. Span margin is nothing but related with the time. Exposure margin, it is a current price. So if you understand these two, if you add these two margin, then you can get what will be the value of the initial margin. There was one more question is there. Why maintenance margin is less than the initial margin? One more question is there. In the last few minutes, I will explain that. Before that, let me go to the next topic. What is tick size? Tick size is a very common term used in the financial derivatives. It is a keyword. Why? We should know what is the minimum price movement in the trading. Once you know, then it is easy to decide for the investor whether to will go for the contract or not. So this tick size will give indication whether to transact or not, whether we have to trade with the instrument or not, it will give. That is why tick size refers to minimum price movement of the trading instrument in the market. The price movement is different, trading market may vary, but this tick size will give some idea what is the minimum amount that he may lose, or what is the minimum amount he can get, maximum amount he can get. So the tick size is, but this tick size differ from stock exchange to stock exchange. There is one particular question, what is the tick size in NSE, National Stock Exchange? That question they are oftenly asking. What is the tick size of the NSE? It's very easy to understand. The only difference is the tick size is the minimum price change between different bid and the offer price of the asset of the exchange platform. This is applicable only for the National Stock Exchange. That is, what is the bid amount and how much offer price is allowed. So what is the difference between these two? That is called the tick size of the NSE. Whether this tick size is important, certainly the tick size should set the level to large. We can understand what is the liquidity level required for the particular transaction. In a cluster, it's very difficult which financial instrument that we have to buy. So this tick size, on seeing the tick size, we can understand based on our financial position, based on our liquidity, tick size will give indication whether to go for it or not. So definitely it reduces the risk. Market makers assuming meaningful risk. Suppose we are going for this, you know this much risk that we are taking. So that is why tick size is important. The last one is marked to market. Market is nothing but when you have some demand account, we should know what is the accounting tool that we are using for this tick size or lot size or other thing. It is a accounting term in order to value the asset for the respective current market price. That is, Suppose you are transacting in BSE, Bombay Stock Exchange, this market value will give some idea. This is the way that this is the current price. And based on that, what is the initial margin required? What is the maintenance margin required? What is the span market? All these things we can able to analyze and we can go for it. Finally, there are three more things that I have to explain. One is a rollover. A rollover involves a transfer of fund from one investment to another. Suppose you have buy some financial instrument that is having less return, you can move your fund from this particular policy to another. We can go for the another instrument which is giving more return. So that is called rollover. These transactions usually involve transfer of fund between a similar investment vehicle. Normally, if you go for mutual fund or you go for that particular lot, then a similar instrument is there, then it is easy to move. Definitely, why it is doing within the short span, they want to make maximum profit. For that, rollover is taking place. Suppose the maturity value is differing or the maturity date is differing. Based on that, they can manipulate and they will do the rollover from one type of instrument to another type. Another thing, this particular rollover is possible only when you are familiar with the cost of carry. What is cost of carry? It is a cost associated with the carrying the value of that particular investment. Suppose you are having some financial instrument, then how much you are spending for that particular financial instrument. It may be financial cost, it may be interest, or it may be the expense for carrying that, or it may be initial margin, whichever amount it's related with investment. That amount we used to call it as a cost of carry. This cost of carry only decides whether we have to go for the next transaction, rollover, or all these things will take place. I told earlier why maintenance margin is lower than the initial margin. Understand one thing, initial margin is a span margin with the exposure margin, but maintenance margin is comparatively less. Why? Because it represents the amount of equity of the investor who has to maintain the margin account after purchasing that particular asset. You may have some position. The higher initial margin limit usually more relevant. So the leverage ETF means exchange trade fund, and the call option is typically better for the investor who want more leverage. Suppose any investor want to have a leverage or exchange rate fund, you want to make a rollover, or you want to analyze whether we have to go for this particular option or future, then this particular maintenance margin should be analyzed. Then only you can transact. With this, I am completing this class. All the best. We'll meet in the next class. Thank you.